Hey guys, Tim Reading here, founder of My Cloud Crew. Just a short video on tasks and task list inside Teamwork, and specifically relating to managing people. So I'm inside our system now, and I'm going to show you how we go about creating tasks and task lists. Now, one of the ways we do it here at My Cloud Crew is a task list tends to be categorized as a function within a role. So let's say we've got a marketing coordinator, and part of their responsibility is to write the blog. So I'm going to call this blog writing. We'll leave all of that out. Most of the time that is good to just leave blank and not touch that. Okay, once that's done, that will appear at the bottom. So I'm going to go and now add a task to that. So that's a task list, blog writing. Well, another thing we can do is name the person that's doing that. So if you have a team, it's very easy to identify who does what if you say function and then person. So that's another way you can do it. And we can add the task. So we could say week 1 blog. Now that could be just a standalone task, or it could be the first step in a series of steps, and they could be related. So we'll have a look at how we do that. So I'm going to call this draft, and I'm going to assign this to me. Now it depends on who's in the team. I'm going to email me, so let's say it's your VA or your writer, and they're going to start today, and let's say it's due on Monday. And this is how much time they've got to do it. So let's say it's a 1,000 word blog post. We're going to give them 3 hours. And keep that private. We can say this is medium. And we can write a brief. So we could say 1,000 words. And say due Monday. Just repeating that. Give them a title. We might know the title. Depending on whether you're controlling marketing or whether your content writer, your blogger is senior and they're creating their own titles. So let's say title is 101 ways to utilize a VA. And some more of a brief stock image from Adobe Suite. And what else can we tell them that's going to make them deliver something without having to go back and forth? So 1,000 words, due Monday, that's the title. Stock images, now this is a blog post, I'm going to give them the keywords as well. VA, virtual assistant. Etc. Okay, so it's only a 5-step brief. It took me 20 seconds, but that will remove a lot of back and forth. So you can embed instructions, and that could even be an instructional video if this is, for example, a website brief. Okay, so we've got a lot of that covered, and we're going to say review blog draft. And this could be someone else. This could be that person's manager. Now let's get the dates right because it's due then, so the review could be due the day after. And let's make this step dependent upon the step above by clicking that button, the arrow. Okay, so again, this probably would be someone else. I won't pick someone else for the sake of this example. And I'm going to put a time limit on that too, so we can start to see a budget of time starting to chip away here. Okay, so now we're getting the times in sync. So note we're still under 2 minutes in creating this brief here. And that's that. Post blog on site. Okay, now just keeping in mind it's carried forward those dates, so we're going to just start here and go there. So the times are in sequence. We're going to make this step dependent upon the previous step as well. Because logically, this one cannot be done until this one's done. We're going to set some time, and that might only take 10 minutes to do that. And if there's any notes, so note number 1, whatever that might be, note number 2, etc. So you can get as detailed as you like. This could be a link to a wiki, could be a link to a Vimeo file, a YouTube clip, anything really. or you could put an attachment. We tend to avoid those because links and just explanatory notes are generally more than enough. And again, you'd consider who is doing this step. Okay, so we'll save that. So we've got here a 3-step process through a task list saying this is the task, this is the person, and then we've got a dependent process, step 1, step 2, step 3, with dependencies. And now let's assume that the draft is done. So let's say Tim has done the draft. What we're going to do is we're going to post that as a comment. So we might say, and Google Drive is a great way to do this, to create the draft so it's a live file. So see draft here. And we would go, so this is the person doing the draft. And they would just link the Google Doc right there, or the online 365 doc. Great way to do it. Uploading and downloading Excel and Word docs is really clunky, so we prefer links to live documents. And then you can notify the person, and then we're done. Save comment. Let me just send that to myself. Okay, so you can see a comment thread starting to form here, so I can reply. So imagine that I am someone else. Got it. Change the following. And we'll say change number 1, 2, 3. And then select who you want to receive it. Done. Okay, now there's 2 comments. Okay, so reiterating, we've got a task list. We've got tasks which are the child of this parent. And we've got step 1, 2, 3, dependent. Once this is ticked off, this one can now start. See how that's now available to start. Now, if you have a VA with My Cloud Crew, what will happen here is they'll actually start clicking the clock or start the timer. Oops. They will start the timer as they do this process, and you can see a little bit over on the left there's actually a virtual clock ticking away. So I'm going to pause that, and you will view that in timesheets. Okay, so that's a fair amount of what you need to know about tasks and task lists. Keep in mind there's also milestones in Teamwork, but they tend to be more project driven as opposed to role driven. So if you're doing something big like a website that's due on a certain date, you might use a milestone. But for the normal cadence of managing people, tasks and task lists are really effective. Okay, I hope that was helpful.